Alright, YouTube, it's been a while since I made a video, so I want to try to be as coherent as I can, as much as possible with this video here. Um, I'm a little bit concerned. There is a lot going on right now with the troops movement in Europe and the overall deployment of troops all over the United States. I feel like all of these things are being used as a disguise to deal with, rioters or, defacing monuments or whatever you want to call it. I think we are systematically putting certain groups of people somewhere in strategic locations in order to facilitate rapid response here in the United States, just in case something does happen. Now, I don't know if you guys been listening to the news, but there is a huge, major a realignment of all the troops going on in Europe. You have a bunch of NATO troops, including U.S. troops, combining together, doing exercises and bringing more heavy armor into Europe. Now, I do know that sometimes they do exercises and they do this thing annually or however long. But you also have to keep in mind that with this issue going on with Ukraine and Russia and this deal with China and Taiwan, this is becoming somewhat of a ticking bomb. And I'm going to start by breaking down this latest round of talks between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. Okay, I will tell you this right now. If you all know by now, Trump is not the kind of guy that likes to lose any battles. He does not like to be embarrassed. He might take a hit, but then he'll come back stronger later. This has been proven time and time again. Vladimir Putin is a stubborn megalomaniac, ex-KGB thug who believes that might is right and he will plow to anything. Ukraine being in the middle. Now, I do not know what most of you believe or think about Ukraine, but I'm going to tell you this. Most of the sour taste that people have when they hear the name of Ukraine is corruptions and all this stuff, but I can argue that we have corruption everywhere in the world, including here in the United States. Look what happened the past 4 years, okay? So let's not even go there. But the bottom line is that everybody is corrupt. And it's cleared and it has been shown already that Russia has been committing genocide on a sovereign country, okay, that chooses not to become part of Russia, okay? They are basically bombing to oblivion every civilian infrastructure out there, killing everyone and anything. So they are not even bothering to target military targets or anything that has to do with a just war. Yet, if you look at what Ukraine is doing, they're hitting infrastructure for gas, rail stations, military targets, planes, anything that has to do with the military. But yet they have not hit one civilian target. And if there is anything to do with civilians, you can clearly see there have been a mistake. There is a pattern here. They are not attacking anything civilian. However, when it comes to the Russians, they're just basically bombing, killing, and genociding everything in their path. Okay? They have even broken a tremendous amount of laws right now, and even including if there is anything such thing as an honor in war, they're using North Korean troops, okay, and heavy equipment, and also they've been using China for a while, but yet they whine, bitch, and complain when the United States implies that they're going to get in there or not, or even Europe for that matter. They start threatening about nuclear, annihilation and blah blah blah. I find the entire thing disgusting. It is kind of like a clown show what they're doing over there, okay? And I'm personally getting tired of Russia and their bullshit. I think we're reaching a point right now where now that Trump is getting involved in this, because let me tell you something. This thing is costing us billions of dollars. Okay, we might be making money. We might be using the land lease deal to support Ukraine, but you also have to keep in mind, guys, if Putin gets away with this stuff and Ukraine gets taken over, for one, we're going to lose credibility. And let's assume for a minute that that means nothing. The bottom line is that they're going to be able to hit now Poland, Lithuania, and a bunch of other states. That will also embolden China to try to take Taiwan. And I'm telling you right now, this is a bad proposition. I have nothing against the Chinese people. They're suffering right now heavily from one disaster to the other, including the never-ending disaster of the CCP, which is that on itself is worth any human disaster that they can go through. Same thing with the Russian people. I have no problem with the Russian people. I do have a problem with the communism, with the Russian people, with the with the Russian government, which is basically anything communism is detrimental to humanity and growth. Okay, that's what basically where the nations go to die, and you can clearly see what's happening to China and Russia right now, and North Korea for that matter. The bottom line is that we are seeing a tremendous movement of troops, and there might be a possibility that this might go with a bang real quick when we least suspect it. So what I recommend to each and one of you, do not sit in your laurels and start making preparations. Make sure that you have at least the basic things that you need, because this might actually go down real quick, real fast, and this thing is winding up really fast. We might be getting into something that we might not be able to back out of, because regardless of how you look at it, even if we let Russia take Ukraine, they will get emboldened, and they will then try to take any other European country that they have lost and they want to bring back under their belt, and that will activate Article 5 on NATO. And I'm telling you right now, NATO has been very patient, and there has been many airspace violations and drones and things being flown into NATO countries where they could have very easily activate Article 5, and we would have been in a war already. But people are confusing patience with weakness, okay? And I feel like they are building the case, and it's just building up little by little. I don't think Trump has lost in any way any power, or he has lost his spine or his nerve. I think we are very quickly getting into a position where eventually we're going to have to do a smackdown, and it's going to be a big one, because there might be a possibility that China might get involved in this process. Now, China right now is going through a lot of shit. They have buildings collapsing, they have earthquakes, they have their dam just breaking apart, they're flooding their own country from left to right, they're killing their own people, but yet they're still continuing to do military practices to actually surround the island. So there's a lot going on here. I rather you guys do not get distracted with any other bullshit with the news and all the crap in their belief, and all the scare tactics that Russia has this or Russia has that. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, Russia cannot do shit right now. They are basically tied up in Ukraine. If they would have been able to do anything and win anything, or even be able to take over Ukraine, they would have done it at least a year and a half ago. They don't have anything. Okay, all they have is a bunch of old nuclear missiles, which God knows if any of them, half of them work. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Their naval forces are in shambles, and only have a handful of submarines, and we know where they are. We can keep track of them. So for those of you who think that we're losing a nerve, no, we're not. I think we are getting ready to do something along the same scales of World War II. If this goes down, I feel like it will be over when it's over, pretty much. So I recommend to each and one of you to get your preparations, get whatever you need to get, and get it done now, because you never know when this is going to happen. Now, you probably have heard this type of comments by millions of other YouTubers out there, but the bottom line is that I am going based on evidence and things that it makes me believe that we are getting to ready to do something. If you notice, Trump and his cabinet are being very quiet. They're not saying much. They're just basically absorbing blows and taking notes. Versus the other clown who was installed like a Chinese toilet in the White House that kept running their mouth like a chihuahua all day long and making threats and nothing gets done. We have a different animal right now in the White House. And this dude is not willing to be shamed the way that Putin has done it. Now, do I think that Putin is capable of doing anything? Well, yeah, I am. Look, I mean, he's just basically he's got 65-year-old men fighting in the front in Ukraine. He doesn't give a shit about people. He doesn't care about bodies. He doesn't care about life. He's just gonna do whatever he wants. So, do I think that we have a serious problem in our hands? Yes, we do, and I think that's why the president is taking his time to really wrap this up in a way where we can actually just deal with this as quickly as possible, as effectively as possible. So whatever you do, do not get complacent. This is the time to get ready. I think we might be seeing something here pretty soon, a big thing. Okay, so yeah, having said that, I wish you all, good luck, and I hope you don't just get tired of, hearing this kind of warnings. But that's what I got for you guys. Just felt compelled to make this quick little video for the handful of cats that are gonna watch this video, because I don't have a big following. In fact, I don't even consider having a big following at all. But I highly recommend that you'll get all your ducks in a row, because we might be onto something here pretty soon. I don't know how soon. I don't have a crystal ball, but the amount of alignment of troops and movement, things being done, will suggest that we are very quickly moving towards something that, one day you're gonna wake up and the bombs will be dropping. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.